I don't typically talk about how to make your woman feel safe. Mainly what I talk about here is how to help you step into your power. But the big part of this game is not only do you step into your power, but she also has to feel safe. So how do you create boundaries and how do you create safety for your woman? For a woman, safety is a much different game than it is for a guy. For a guy who's walking down the street, he's like, I feel perfectly safe. There's not many times in my life where I feel like my life is in danger. And for most guys, this is what we think safety is. Is my life in danger? My wife's safe, I protect her, she's, I never hit her or something. Like, I can't believe my wife would accuse me of trying to hit her. That would never fucking happen. I don't know why she told the cops that. And it's like, because she's not talking about physical safety, she's talking about emotional safety. Emotional safety is this place where I feel open and accepted enough where I can start revealing my deeper secrets. This is what she's talking about. How can I really open up and reveal myself to my guy? There's a need for her to be able to open herself and open her heart fully to you and have it fully accepted by you without judgment. For a guy, it can be hard to do. You might be looking at your wife being like, I run this business and all she has to do is run this household and I don't see why it's that hard. When I'm at work, I come home, she's stressed the fuck out, half the place isn't clean, she barely can cook, and she's screaming at the kids. And then when I have a day off and she goes to the spa, I manage the house and it's the easiest fucking thing in the world. I don't understand the problem. And so you look down on her. You look down on her with contempt. You're like, this woman can barely get shit straight. Like, I'm running a business and I can run these kids. It'd be much easier for me to just be a single dad. I'd run this fucking show. It's not a big deal. And for you, you're right. It isn't a big deal. But for her, she's in this place where she's withering. She's overwhelmed. She doesn't know how to manage her own emotional state. And when she sees you, she sees that she has to perform in a certain way. She sees that you're looking down on her. And she gets to this place in her head where she can't just chill the fuck out. And so this is the unfortunate reality of most marriages, especially if you've got this woman who's a stay-at-home mom and she's overwhelmed all the time and angry and upset and she's not open for sex all the time and you get into these fights all the time. This is what's happening. This is the reality of what's happening. She doesn't feel that there's a secure place for her to be. She doesn't really know her place. She knows her place, but she doesn't feel that it's valued at some level. Regardless of the reality of the situation, this is her perception. You may say, she's perfectly safe to tell me what she wants. She can have whatever she needs. She needs a housekeeper, we gotta get a landscaper, need somebody to do the laundry, maybe if somebody come in and cook some meals, bring them to the house, whatever, babysitter, nanny. Like, she can have whatever she wants. I don't know why she's still stressed out. Because she doesn't know how to manage her emotional state and she needs you to help her walk her through this whole process. And so the process means I need to feel seen, heard, and understood. I need to feel safe. I need to feel emotionally safe. And this is what she's saying. And to you, you're like, this is crazy. I see her all the time. I'm encouraging her all the time. I tell her she's beautiful. I tell her that I love her. I don't know what else I can do for her. And so this is a thing that most guys miss in a relationship. I'm sure exactly how to do this. For your wife to feel safe with you, she has to be able to open up and emote to you. She has to be able to have emotions and have you not judge them. They may be raging. They may be just sadness. She might just need some time alone to decompress. She might need all kinds of things. And your job is not to fix her emotions. And so this is where guys mess it up. They want to come in and fix the situation. I'll fix it. Okay, she's upset. I'm going to go make her not upset. And they'll take his wife's emotions on personally. I'm going to fix her emotions. Oh, mom's upset. Let's dance around the fact that she's upset. And oh shit, she's upset. Everybody clear the house. Let's clean up the house real quick so that she'll calm down. You going in there and trying to fix her emotions is you telling her that her emotions are unacceptable, that she can't have this emotional state. And on one hand, you would think, she should appreciate that. We're all trying our hardest to help her out, but she's thinking, fuck, I'm in imposition. I'm making a problem for everybody. It's better for me just to keep it down and keep the peace. Which then starts coming out in weird ways, like snide comments and angry remarks. And she starts talking to you like you don't care. Like you just don't see her, that you don't understand her. And this is where it's coming from. She just needs to be able to be emotional and have everybody be stable and calm and not freak the fuck out. That's all it is. And to accept her in this place. So she can get angry, she can get upset, she can scream, she can holler, she can hit things, whatever. She doesn't get the right to be abusive. And a lot of women like to use their husbands as this emotional punching bag. And I'm just gonna talk to him, I'll talk down to him and blame him for everything, all this stuff. And then a lot of coaches will come in there and say, dude, you just gotta weather her storm. Fuck that shit. No, you don't. There's never acceptable to accept abuse. So if she becomes abusive, she starts hitting you, throwing things, snide remarks, cutting you down, emasculating you, shaming you, guilting you, or any kind of gaslighting manipulation, shut that shit down. It's not acceptable. If you're with a wife who will not be nice, then you're not gonna have a wife that'll ever be a good relationship partner. Not to you, not to anybody. As men, we want to have empathetic and caring women. And that means that she needs to learn to be nice to people. If she can't be nice to people, she'll never have an adult relationship. It's just the way it is. I mean, you can come in there and try to make up for it, but you're just going to be encouraging more of this bullshit, and you're going to get what you tolerate, and it's going to increase. So she can have these emotional states, and she should be encouraged to have it. And then you do what I call the gift, which is you don't get defensive and try to correct the record. But baby, we just were trying to do this. We just got to get her to talk about it. She'll do a lot of processing on her own, just having the experience of verbalizing it, like a verbal journal. So the kids don't necessarily have to be a part of this, although I'm of the opinion that you should let your kids see you fight. They need to see how you resolve conflict in a healthy manner. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But if there's toxicity happening and you're allowing that to happen in front of your children, then they're normalizing toxicity. So just be aware of that. So see, she rolls her eyes at you. You say something, she slams the dish and she rolls her eyes. She's inviting a collision. Not because you're mad at her or you find it disrespectful, but because she's having a human experience and she's emoting that she would like to resolve it and that she wants you to know that it's happening. If she didn't want you to know it was happening, she wouldn't have rolled her eyes and slammed the dish. She's emoting that something's happening. Okay, she's having a moment here and she's signaling to me that something needs to be done about it or that she needs to say something. And so you may say something like, you seem upset, what's going on? And she may deflect. There's nothing going on. And then this means you'll have to escalate. Well, I know something's going on because you rolled your eyes at me and you slammed a dish, which tells me something's going on, and it also tells me you want me to know it. So what's going on? Stop hiding. And she may open up at that point. She may block you. She may stonewall you. And if the case she stonewalls, you say, well, I know you're upset, but it doesn't seem like you want to talk about it. But if you want to talk about it later, I'll be right over here. In the meantime, I'm going to give you a wide berth because it doesn't seem like you really want any attention at all. And so some women will have this defunct methodology in their mind where it's like, well, if you really cared, he'd chase me. No, you don't. That is a toxic way of looking at things. Your job is not to satisfy her idealistic romance novel fantasy of what a relationship is supposed to be like. Your job is to come to a conclusion and come to a resolution and hold the line of what is healthy and what's not healthy in a relationship. To the extent even that she doesn't have to be with you if she does not want to be a nice person. And so she's going to say, yeah, I'm just upset. I'm in here in the kitchen. I'm trying to get the kids' lunches together and all this commotion's happening and all these things are happening. And so you know your wife. And you know there's probably like 3 things she gets upset about. There's 3 things that trigger her, and she goes down this spiral every single time. And your job is to just find out what one of those things are and then just speak directly to that. And so the wrong thing to do is like, oh, well, let me come in here and like fix all these things in the dishes and all this stuff in the lunches. Let me just come in here and fix all that. That doesn't solve the problem. There's a deeper issue that's coming in that she doesn't know how to resolve, and so she goes into this emotional spiral and this trauma. And this is why I call it the gift, because it's not your responsibility to get her to feel better. It's her responsibility to live an exceptional life and to stay in a peaceful and loving place. Just like everybody is responsible for their own happiness and how they perceive and react to things, so is your wife. You are not responsible for her emotions. This is going to trigger a lot of women watching this video because they subscribe to this, that my husband needs to come in and be supportive and help me. Maybe, but just look at yourself. Why do you allow yourself to get into such a situation? Why do you allow your emotions to get so wrapped up and completely turn you into a slave of your own emotional state? That shows that you have very low emotional resiliency. And you can't rely on somebody else to fix you. That's not their responsibility. This is why we call it the gift. So if I'm coming in and I'm saying, hey, what's going on? And she's telling me all these things that are going on. So as the husband, the gift is part of remind her who she is. Bring her back into her heart. Help her shift perspective and frame of the situation to something that's much more positive and beneficial. I can come in here and save her from this situation, but it's just going to happen again tomorrow. And now I'm creating a situation where every day I have to save her from the same situation. That's exhausting. I have to come in here and save my wife from her own emotionality all the fucking time, which then tells her that I will come in and save her from her own emotionality. Then she'll start to lean on me more and more and more to do this. And it's not because she's a bad person, but because this is how the human ego goes. It's lazy as fuck. It doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to take responsibility. It's easier to just push everything else onto somebody else. And so what I would do in this situation is I would say, okay, what's the thing that's actually overwhelming her? Is it the fact that she has all these things to do, but she loves to make these lunches. She loves to make them very particular because she loves these kids and they want to have this surprise when they open it up, which is fucking great. My mom never did this shit. It's amazing. I know that if my older boys start to get into a collision, start fighting, this is what overwhelms her. And then that overwhelm will spiral into everything else. So the problem isn't the fact that she's overwhelmed with lunches and getting the kids ready for school. The problem is that we've got this collision that happens with the boys, and it's not being managed properly, and she doesn't know how to manage it properly when she's under the gun with a time constraint. That's the issue. And so once you learn what it is, you say, did the boys get into a fight? And she'll say, yes, this. And then I'm like, okay, cool, let me go handle the boys. Bam. Now, if I'm parenting effectively, I'm going to make it to where the boys handle collision and this doesn't happen at all. I get to a place of prevention instead of reactivity. I don't want to be reacting to my kids and punishing them when something happens. No, I want to teach them to be grown-ass adults so that it prevents them from fighting to begin with, so that everybody has a peaceful life. And I'm not sitting here managing kids' bullshit. And so I come over there and I say, did the boys fight? And she's like, yes. I'm going to go over there and handle it. I'll go over there and handle the boys, and then she'll calm down. Problem is she gets overwhelmed because she's got too many things she's juggling at once, and she gets too emotional about it. Now, with that being said, there is something within her that needs to manage that emotionality. I'm not saving her from her emotionality. I'm solving a problem within the family dynamic that needs to be solved. I'm not solving my wife. That's condescending. I don't need to solve my wife. My wife's a grown-ass woman. She's very mature. She's going to handle her business. But I will solve the dynamic that needs to be solved in the relationship dynamic with my children. And so I go and I do that. I may say, hey, what's going on? What's happening? And she'll talk about all these things that are going on. I have to see through that, what's the core issue, and then speak to that, not to all the noise that's going around the emotionality. And for a man, this takes some skill because you have to tap into yourself and you have to know what's going on within you. You have to be able to know what's going on within her by working on your own psychology and working on how that works, how psychology works. And then you'll start to see the underlying issue that's going on with her, and we speak directly to that. We don't just try to push off her emotions. We don't try to solve her problem. None of that, that's all surface level stuff. That's not actually seeing the person underneath the pain. If you're able to do that and see what's going on underneath the pain, she's gonna love you forever because she's like, holy shit, he sees me. He understands what's going on. He can just look at me, see the situation, know exactly what's happening. And you have to be consistent. You can't get all emotional when she gets all emotional. You have to be the guy who can be the rock. Be steady in this place. It doesn't mean you're a robot. No, you can have emotions, you can get upset, you get frustrated, but you don't become so of it that you lose your fucking temper, you lose your fucking mind, and you react in a negative and toxic way. Being condescending, being belittling, having sarcastic remarks, silent treatment, pouting, acting like a baby or a bastard. No. As a man in the relationship, you have to have a higher standard for yourself, and then you bring up the entire family by the leadership of your higher standard. And sometimes you even have to hold your wife to that standard. For some of you guys, you're dealing with a lot of manipulation and toxicity in your relationship, and you are holding the standard that is acceptable in your marriage. It's the truth of it. That's why you're here watching this video. If you're allowing this to happen in your marriage, you're leading your family into toxicity. Well, I can never get my wife to change. Your job is not to change your wife. Your job is to hold a standard for what is acceptable and not acceptable in your relationship. Like, well, it doesn't matter what the standard is. She's going to be that way anyway. Well, maybe you married the wrong woman. So what you do is you hold the standard till she either follows the standard or she gets the fuck out. You're like, fuck it, that seems kind of harsh. Well, what else are you going to do? Let this happen forever and let it normalize within your children because you're too afraid to have the collision and walk away? What else are you going to do? So you might as well get ahead of it now. You allow toxicity, it devolves and it gets worse. Why? Because egos like to be in control and they like to own everything and they like to be dicks. And so you have to be the one who has to stalwart. You have to hold the standard of leadership in your relationship. If you don't, well, this is what you're gonna get. And if this has been going on, you're gonna get more of it. Until the point where she can't stand to see your fucking face and she blames you for everything. And she tries to turn your kids against you, she tries to take all your cash and all your prizes and says that you're not a man and maybe she cheats on you. This is the reality of what will happen if you allow this kind of thing in your life. And the sad reality is you encouraged it by allowing it. So when you have these issues, when she has an issue, she's upset, you gotta be very consistent in how you are. You gotta talk directly to it, be straight up. Talk directly to the heart of the issue and invite her to open up and speak really what's going on with her. Like, babe, well, tell me what's going on with you. Like, what's happening? You don't wanna say, you don't wanna get in this place where like, fuck her, I'm gonna just hit her with all this shit. No, the game isn't to have revenge, and the game is not to just put her in her place. The game is to open her up so that she feels safe to open up emotionally to you and invite her into this dialogue so that she can help resolve whatever it is that's going on without you solving it for her. Invite her to open it up, have this conversation, no judgment. She's gonna get spicy. She might accuse you of a few things, but as you get reactive, you spin up the cycle even more. Your job is to stay grounded, resolute, and be non-reactive. You have to be the leader. If the leader gets all riled up by his crew, then he's not the leader of the crew. You got to be the guy who is above the fray. And so when you do this, and you do this consistently, like we demonstrate in Soul Seducer with all the examples and scripts and all in the AI, the Ed AI that can help walk you through every situation, even if you have a situation, the Ed AI will walk you through it. We go through this in depth in Soul Seducer. If you want to know more about that, you want to turn your shit around in a couple weeks, that's down in the link in the description below. Anyways, brother, I hope this has been valuable to you. If it has been, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.